Welcome to this TMH Epic SmartSets tutorial for the ambulatory space. So this part of the tutorial will be understood better if you've at least watched some of the note content tutorial videos to understand the notes I will bring up today. The qDO tutorial video about the logic-based labs do smart group, and then the health maintenance do health maintenance care gap smart groups, part of the Epic Healthy Planet team work that I've helped with. So adding in note content, labs do custom content, and then our Epic HM care gaps. Once you have a base understanding of those three things, then we can put those together and use them for specific visit-based smart sets, similar to express lanes, although because these are my customized content at the moment, they're not automatically activated. You do have to choose them. All right, so we will focus on this annual wellness visit. I'm not going to do a deep dive into the wellness visit notes and requirements, just showing you how the annual wellness visit smart set will speed up these visits. All right, so I am on the chart of a patient who's 74 years old from the schedule here for an annual wellness visit. When I first come to the chart, I may be doing some chart review, not sure where I'll be, but this activity up here called this visit, right? It's supposed to help guide you for all the things that may happen in the visit, from med management, visit diagnoses and problem list. Oh, SmartSets, hey, that's where we're going to go. OPAs, our practice advisories, which is kind of another way for them to say, hey, this patient has a care gap, and there's another way for you to order things. Instructions, ability to kind of do some follow-up planning from here, charge capture. But the key thing for me I want to focus on is, hey, when I first get into a visit, and if I think it's going to be a visit that I'm going to more quickly finish that visit using a smart set, well, once I have those smart sets used, I'm going to find them here. All right, so this hyperlink so I don't have to scroll, I can click smart sets, and now my smart set favorites will be here. And there's my qSet annual wellness visit. Right? Yes, I could have gone down here and search qAWV, and there it is right there. Right? But once I've saved that, used it, right, remember the right-click menu to add it to your favorites. That will be a big benefit to then have them saved here. All right, so let's dive in. Yes, I want to activate the annual wellness visit smart set. All right, so similar to the labs do, or a little bit more like the health maintenance do smart set that was in the previous video. It kind of lives in this central area here. And then we're going to look at the elements of it. Number one, right from the top, if you want to look into covered preventative services at this time and wellness visit requirements, I have hyperlinks straight out to those websites to get that information. Right, so those are active links that will give you all that you need to know about the covered preventative services and rules. Then I have a top part here where you can choose what note. If you want to use the custom wellness visit note that I've made, and then a diagnosis. All right, so because in general, these wellness visits, it's either going to be wellness with abnormal or wellness with normal. And so right from the start, I can add the note, right? So whenever you see a SmartSet that has a note in it, then you have a button over to the right, a hyperlink over to the right, to add that note in. All right, so I've now added that note over to the right. I already know that this patient is going to have abnormal findings, so I'm going to go ahead and get my visit diagnosis assessed right away. I've got some already pre-checked items here. All right, there's a set of female annual wellness visit instructions. This will kind of go through what their health maintenance items are that are due, and general risks, the general kind of primary, secondary, and tertiary content of what the annual wellness visit requires with the preventative services plan. All right. Then, look at this. If you've watched my previous videos, embedded within the annual wellness visit SmartSet is the labs due, the qDO. Right? So this is it's going to look at all those diagnoses, medications, and abnormal labs to decide what labs might be due for this patient, even though this is an annual wellness visit and it might not be your priority. Well, it's just too easy to kind of roll this out into the SmartSet to go ahead and figure out, are there stuff that this patient really needs at this time? Okay. And then, yes, I can click to get all the details about why it's ordering those things. So watch, that's a whole nother video of this, right? Logic-based, labs do all the same features. All right, so let's scroll down this. Now, I'm not going to go over that. You can watch the video. Here's another section, health maintenance. All right, so this one is leveraging the Care Gaps dynamic SmartSet, but it does also include some of the adult vaccines, right? If you watch the HM Care Gap video, I talked about how vaccines many times aren't included, especially the pediatric vaccines. But this one, yes, you because it's an annual wellness visit, it's going to be an adult, older adult. This is going to capture whatever health maintenance care gaps are needed. All right, so I'm bundling all these activities right into one. Because otherwise, when you had come to this patient's chart, what were you going to do? You would have reviewed the chart and looked at things, looked at meds, looked at labs. Then you would have come over to the notes section and had to figure out what note to use for this visit. Then maybe you would have started to pre-order some care gaps from over in the storyboard, and then started to do other orders, right? You have now, even though it's Epic, you've now jumped to many different places. But by me going to this SmartSet, I've already gotten my notes started. I've gotten my diagnosis. I've got instructions ready to go. And those are going to be dynamic as I order things. So that's going to change slightly what shows up in those instructions. I've got my labs due. I've got my health maintenance items that I can say, they declined a pneumococcal vaccine, and I think they already have an order form for a DEXA scan. And this is a prescription to go to the pharmacy. And so I'm going to keep that as is. All right, so keep moving down. Other annual wellness visit charges, right? If you did some of these other action items during the visit, you have an option to get those G codes or other codes added on to the visit. I'm not going to speak to the current state of which of these are payable, but I do know that, as I mentioned in the note, there are certain things in the note that will help you with some of these documentations. I have a section called Other Orders. Right, so if there was a reason to get an EKG, remember that for the initial welcome to Medicare visit. I believe there's an EKG option there. And then I've got a follow-up to just kind of get listed in the chart that they would need another annual wellness visit in 1 year. All right, so this visit, you're not usually ordering a bunch of other labs. There is in the chronic disease SmartSet, there's another section called Other Lab Orders, and it gives you another opportunity to add on more orders besides what the labs do puts in play. Otherwise, from here, if there were more things you wanted to order, you would have to start to use your Add Order button or your other favorites to find those items until we decide where to go with that. If we did on the wellness visit SmartSet want to add other optional lab orders, then easy enough to do. This actually turns out to be quite a short video because there's just not a whole lot to it. Knowing where to go, knowing that when you get into a visit off your schedule, you will be in the This Visit activity. You can go to SmartSets and activate that SmartSet. Now let's change things up and just say, actually, they're not here for an annual wellness visit. They're here for a physical. They were here for some other preventative visit. They're not a Medicare, but they wanted to get kind of physical visit from the This Visit activity. Go to SmartSets, click on the qSet Adult Physical and open that up. So the nice thing is it works very much like the annual wellness visit SmartSet, and this works very much like the express lanes that you will use as well. But I've got the physical exam, adult physical exam note that I've created with the content and the links. So I'm going to add that now over into my note. It's got my help links. It's got all the things from the note videos that I discussed. The ability, if you don't remember, you can use the defaults in the smart lists to speed up the documentation over here. But then back over to the SmartSet. I've got my diagnosis pre-checked because I know that was the reason they were here, was for that adult physical exam. I've got those same instructions, health maintenance, that are similar to the annual wellness visit, which has overall good information about their health maintenance care gaps and primary, secondary, tertiary prevention of diseases. Then I have the labs due. So even though they're here for a wellness visit, this SmartSet gives you the opportunity to look through their chart and see what labs need to be ordered. And if I need to, and once I get confidence that it's really helping me out and seeing what needs to be ordered, I can skip looking at the click for clinical details. But if I don't want to trust, I want to read, because it brings the information to you. It prevents me from having to go look at their med list or problem list as much, because it brings this information into the SmartSet for me of why do these orders need to be done. And when I read this information, it may impact my decisions on other actions during the visit as far as orders or consults. So this is great information to read and learn of why a CBC is being ordered, why a BMP is being ordered, FOS, PTH, microalbumin, hepatitis C. All right, so that's the labs due. Then health maintenance, right? The care gaps, leveraging that information to then put it into a SmartSet shows me those care gaps that need to be satisfied in this patient. And then, as I mentioned, you can always go in here and change them. So one tricky thing with the health maintenance orders is maybe I've decided that I want to do a Cologuard and not a colonoscopy. right? So it's not clearly visible how to take care of that. Well, the way you have to do it is you have to go up to the top level, to the health maintenance. See that diamond right there? That will open things up a little bit more, and then click for more. Now all those little smart groups, you can see the other options. So that opens the door to be able to say, yeah, I don't want to do a colonoscopy. They want a Cologuard. Same thing goes with the other order sets as well. Opening it up from the top level will give you the alternative options to order, and labs do same thing. So when you want to order something from this, but you want to choose a different item, just go to that top level and look for the click for more. Keep clicking the triangles until you get to the point that you see everything. Take a little getting used to. Okay, we get to this next section. Here's where I maybe decided that I did want to do some other orders. Maybe they had some urine symptoms, and so I wanted to get a urine culture or a respiratory culture, or I did look back and they were at borderline iron levels, and I'm going to check on that. Right? Note the caveat here. Right? Review what's been ordered above. Kind of be aware of what's been ordered above before picking. It will not give you the kind of duplicate order warning, at least not until later in the workflow. So just be mindful of that. But it is a helpful opportunity to have some lab orders to add on to the labs due while you're in the midst of working on the SmartSet for this annual physical exam. Got some diagnostics in there as well, because as part of a physical, you may decide they need some of these things. I have a logic-based level of service, right? So it will already check the rules of what's the patient's. Are they an established patient? Are they? What is their age? And pick the correct code for you to put on your as your charge. And then you have an option to both say annual physical in 1 year, or just do some kind of other follow-up, or this visit activity has this follow-up. But I'll be honest, I don't know whether this shows up in your final note or not. Whereas my SmartSet follow-up will show up in your note. So we very quickly reviewed two SmartSets, the qAWV for annual wellness visit and the qAPE, annual physical exam. qSet, adult physical, qAPE. You get these added to your favorites. They will be immediately accessible when you open up the chart from the SmartSets of this visit activity, and really streamline all aspects of the visit, the note, the diagnosis, the charge code, the orders, some relevant and concise instructions, and really keep you from having to navigate around the chart a whole lot. Yep, you still have to work on your note, still have to get certain details in the note and use the smart blocks to get more information in, or use your physical exam macros, right, that I've gone over in the note videos if you haven't watched those yet. I hope you found this helpful for these two similar SmartSets for the annual wellness visit and the annual physical exams. Stay tuned for I will go more towards a chronic disease management visit SmartSet. The qCDM will be covered in the next video.